On this week's episode of Motivational Minutes, author and art therapist Dena McMillon-Billups explains why it's important to embrace and honor your own thoughts. Well, I think it's amazing too that you're using art therapy and you're using art as a means of therapy, I should say. I think one of the things you and I spoke about once was I have a memory of you when we were in high school and we were all sort of like trying to figure out what we were going to do when we graduate. And we were all having these these extravagant plans. I was going to go to Hollywood and be the next Eddie Murphy, and somebody else was going to go be a doctor and this and that. And you were like, I'm going to be an art therapist. And I was like, well, I never, what? Because literally I didn't even know that was a thing. And what's so amazing about, about that now is, now realizing in the modern world how much people get from other therapeutic means, such as art, being able to maybe physically do activities and what that brings people out of sometimes when they're destitute or really having a hard time. So art therapy for you was a career that you talked about when we were in high school. And for me to see you have come this far using it at such a high level, philanthropically, is very impressive. I just want you to know that I think it's a pretty incredible thing that you've done from a high school conversation of what you're going to do when you get out of school.
Well, we had some very magical conversations back then, right? Our starfish and coffee conversation.
Yes. People who don't know, that's a reference to a Prince song, Starfish and Coffee. So yes, so to this day, Dena and I call our talks Starfish and Coffee Talks, but that's why I wanted to share them with the Motivational Mondays audience this time around.
Yes. And, I think the arts, as you know, it can really bring, it's another way of healing, and it's another way of healing our communities. It's another way to express ourselves, and it's another way for us to find our words.
Absolutely. Well, I do not disagree in any way with that. And those are final words of wisdom that I really appreciate you sharing. And I will ask you one final question. For your book, what would you say would be one key takeaway if you could provide readers with? What do you want them to get from your book?
In my book, I want them to use it as a companion, and find themselves in the book. And when I say find yourself, and I'm talking about stripping to the core, find your self-wealth, and I think the core is your place of self-wealth. And I do believe that you will doodle your thoughts. And I think that we don't get that opportunity enough in the society that we live in. We're always at a fast pace. So I think this book will give you that opportunity to slow down and to, the word I want to use is examine your thoughts, activate right thinking, but also to honor your own thoughts.
Subscribe today for more inspiration on the go.